We really do appreciate your time and attention. And more importantly, we are so thrilled that you're here to join us and witness the launching of what we believe is an exceedingly important and unprecedented coalition of organizations that are both industry and geographically diverse. This broad coalition will vigorously participate in the Environmental Protection Agency's current and future regulations of greenhouse gas regulations. The EPA is advanced already in its path to regulate greenhouse gas emissions from new sources of electricity and has begun the rulemaking for all existing sources of electricity, but it doesn't stop there. As confirmed by Administrator Gina McCarthy in recent testimony, the EPA must then turn its focus to regulating other aspects of the economy and their emissions. This sweeping agenda will have a profound impact on virtually every component of our economy and every region of our country, which is why this coalition is so diverse in the interests and regions it represents. We will spearhead this effort because this affects the very functioning of every element of our economy, which is still staggering from a very damaging recession. We will take advantage of every opportunity to be the real-time reality check to EPA and its rulemaking on the impact of each regulation on each and every one of these industries and regions. We do this because we want a better outcome, not because we want to throw obstacles in the process. We also believe that we truly need all forms of energy and will rigorously fend off efforts to eliminate fossil fuels from our energy mix. The United States and the world would depend on fossil fuels for the foreseeable future. We are united in our conviction that energy in America must be affordable, reliable, and diverse. Not only is it critical to each of the members of this coalition, but it is to the well-being of our country and economy as a whole. It is the underpinning of America's competitiveness.
The 78 member organizations that are represented at the table here and throughout the room come from nearly every segment of the U.S. economy, as Karen has indicated, and we're unified in support of responsible energy regulations. We're committed to this cause because, put quite simply, we know what's at stake. Manufacturers are major energy consumers. In fact, we use 1/3 of this nation's energy output. We're developing technologies to advance energy efficiency. We're reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Efficient and sustainable energy practices make sense. They're good business, and they're the right thing to do. The greenhouse gas emission rules that are proposed by the EPA would limit manufacturers' ability to access affordable and secure energy. The administration has signaled that it intends to regulate fossil fuels out of the economy. And then when the EPA is through with power plants, it will move on to manufacturing facilities.
Our concerns lie with any policy that makes our electricity supply less diverse, less reliable, and more expensive. Today, I have 30,000 fewer coal miners employed than just 18 to 20 months ago. What these policies mean is, depending on how they come out, it can increase or decrease the likelihood that many of them will ever find those high-wage jobs again back in the coal mines and in the coal supply chain.
Coal-based electricity is alive and well in America. That's the message that I want you to take away today. The recent cold weather and reliance on a true all-of-the-above strategy, it actually worked, has highlighted the importance of coal as a reliable, affordable, and more importantly, essential part of the base load that delivers electricity for us. The all but one of the above strategy that the administration is demonstrating through their attitude and actions in new source performance standards has created a de facto ban on new power plants in this country. But with this de facto ban, we're taking away the ability. We're saying, no, you can't do it unless you have carbon capture and sequestration, which is one of the tools, but it's not the only tool. And I'm very passionate about that because it takes away competitiveness for us. Someday people will be selling that technology back to us in America, and that's wrong. The standards halt innovation, but perhaps the biggest challenge that we have is the standards for existing plants that are further restricting our energy mix and reducing our global competitiveness. And it is manufacturing. Today in America, there was a consumer that switched on the lights and turned up the heat, and it was there, and they could afford it. Tomorrow in America, we have to ensure that that consumer, particularly the fixed income and low income consumer, can do the same.
We see energy as the solution to America's economic challenges right now, and there are a lot of opportunities to capitalize on that. But we have to keep it affordable and reliable and diverse. And this group's sole intent is to keep that on the table for the American consumer and the American business communities.
The cost of energy impacts all consumers. We talk as manufacturers about the fact that we use a third of the nation's energy supply. But there are people all over this country that even today struggle to pay their home heating and energy costs. And if we have policies that drive up those costs, it just makes quality of life diminish in this country. And that's not what anybody that I've ever talked to in Congress or who's run for office wants to see.
That in the rulemaking process, that EPA does not put forward technologies that might be available in a laboratory but are not commercially viable or available out in the marketplace. And we're seeing a tendency for them to overly judge the viability of technologies today for coal-fired electricity, which would, if not available, obviously move coal out of the system entirely, or if they are mandated, either will necessarily drive up electricity or we just won't build any. All three of those are probably pretty bad scenarios for the American economy.
Our goal is, certainly from the manufacturing perspective, is to drive that overall cost of business down even as far as we possibly can to attract even more investment. And affordable and reliable energy supply is really key to that. So thank you all very much for being a part of this being a part of this coalition and this partnership. We've got a lot of work to do, but together, clearly, we can make some pretty big inroads by all of our collective voices. So thanks for being here.